HCTV Sports is supported by the Hastings Public House. Memories made local.
First goal of the year goes for the Raiders.
Oh, beautiful shot there. Nicely done. Gets the pin.
Oh, was that beautiful? Onside kick, and it's recovered by Hastings.
And he's rung up for strike 3.
Zablawi! Touchdown Raiders! Hello everyone and welcome to the Hastings Civic Arena as we get set for a battle of girls hockey here between the Hastings Raiders and the Eastridge Raptors here on HCTV Sports. It's the winter opener for our winter schedule. So happy to be with you here tonight from this historic arena. Got a nice attendance in the crowd here. Of course, I'm Owen Ely here with my broadcast partner for the night, Hunter Pinky. Hunter, how's it going, buddy?
It's going great. I'm excited. It feels like it's been ages since our last game. I'm really excited for this one. The Hastings Raiders have been playing hot. They're averaging 8 goals a game. They're with a 3-1 record. This should be a really fun one tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, you look at their schedule coming into this. They have not played a close game all year. They have 3 blowout wins, 1 blowout loss. Got to figure that this one's probably going to be a little bit closer with a 3-0 Eastridge Raptors team. Just minutes away here from puck drop.
Absolutely. It should be a fun one. Here comes the Hastings team out of the tunnel. Someone fell down right there. We'll take a look here early on at the Metro East. As we said earlier, Hastings has that 3-1 overall record. They haven't played a conference game yet, but you can see where the other teams lie. Two Rivers St. Paul at 2-1, Hill Murray at 2-0, North Tartan 2-1, Simley 1-2-1, and South St. Paul 3-1. Most teams are having a pretty good start in the Metro East.
Yeah, not bad. Should figure to be a fairly competitive conference. And you know, interesting you talk about them not playing a conference game yet, and they actually won't for 4 more games. It'll be December 6th when they take on Simley from this very arena when they'll play their first conference game. As you can see, there's a shot of the Raiders faithful. Arena is showing out here tonight for the home opener.
Yeah, and that's one of the things Hastings does well. Fans carry. They love their sports teams, and it's great to see a big crowd for the home opener. As we await starting lineups.
I gotta say, those are some pretty nice uniforms. We got a battle of 2 teams with really, really nice uniforms. It should be interesting to hear some of the starting lineups because we were told who the starter in net will be tonight. So we'll get to the starters here for the Raiders. There you can see towards the left of your screen, the starter in net tonight, Bree Balster, a junior.
It's kind of an interesting decision. Obviously, it's a non-conference game. You could argue it's a conference game because Hastings used to be in the Suburban East when I was in high school. Kind of interesting decision to switch over. Obviously, we don't have that park rivalry anymore, but
I know that's a travesty.
As you being a park guy, it's a shame. You know,
100%. All right, well, looks like we'll take a momentary pause here for the national anthem. Well, a beautiful rendition there of the national anthem. Again, just moments away from puck drop here for the home opener for the Hastings Raiders girls hockey team. Should be a great one here tonight. 4 games played on the road. We're looking at the upcoming schedule. Interestingly enough, 10 of the next 12 games for this Raiders team are going to come here at the Hastings Civic Arena.
Yeah, it's always difficult too winning on the road. The fact that they could win their first 3 out of 4 is a great sign for this Raiders team. But in that momentum, you always want to carry that over in your home opener, which I think the Raiders will be incredibly competitive in this game. Eastridge is a pretty good hockey team. Last year they won this matchup 3-2. But it's anyone's contest now. New year, new team, new head coach for the Raiders, Jim Joseph, replacing Tim Duggan.
So a new look here for this team. Should be interesting. One of the things we noticed prior to the game, 13 of the 15 skaters for the Raiders have scored a goal in the first 4 games as we get the puck drop, and we are underway here from Hastings Civic Arena. Puck's going to enter the Raiders zone, mounting an attack there on the far side. Slammed right into the boards there, Kyra Erickson. 11 points for her on this young season. We'll get a speedy breakaway here from Addison Andre. Takes a shot off balance. Goes to the right of the Raiders netminder. Now the puck switching sides back behind Balster. Momentarily pinned along the boards. A centering pass enters the crease. Comes out in front of the Raiders bench. It's going to wrap around the half wall. Slapped back towards the Raiders student section. Now crossing back, we'll see the Raptors retreating. Takes a deflection. We'll have a forward there. Madden Hansen. Getting the pressure down low and back the other way. A wave off the icing. Battle for the puck. Nearly won by the Raptors. Eventually won by the Raptors. A screaming pass right in front of the goaltender Balster. And now a race for the puck here into this near side corner. Backhanded away by Latta. Skaters getting their cardio in here in the early goings here in the first 2 minutes, as we'll get a pause at the 15-20 mark in the opening period.
Yeah, a lot of early pressure from the Raptors early in this game. Hopefully Hastings can turn that around a little bit.
Get a offensive zone face-off here for the Raiders. Taken back by the Raptors. Myers, using her speed, takes a shot, deflects off of Balster. Puck moving towards center ice. Try to backhanded pass from Mull. Raiders struggling to get the puck out of their own zone. Myers comes in, fires a shot, and we'll get the first save of the night there from the junior goaltender Bree Balster. 1-1 on this young season, a 1.5 goals against, 91% save percentage. Now a defensive zone face-off here for the Raiders. Racing towards the puck. There was heavy pressure there from Kylie Gruden. Puck's going to go back behind the Eastridge goaltender Limpert. We have a Raptor here. Andre working her way coast to coast. Tries a centering pass intended for Lily Fetch. 3 goals on the season thus far, and we'll have another save by Balster.
Let's take a look at this shot. That was a nice save by Balster. Just gloves that one.
Yeah, and it's always tough when your vision is impaired from a screen.
And that's an aspect a lot of hockey fans don't think about, or just having hockey other players get in front so you can't see as that one almost goes in.
Oh yeah, there was a huge mass of players there in front of Balster on that one. Luckily, not a goal allowed there for the Raiders. 5 saves already on the early night here for Balster. The Raiders forcing the Raptors back into their own corner. Raiders had 3 players bunched up in that near side corner. Now scooping the puck off the side. Tried to deke around number 17 there for the Raiders. Now 17 here for Eastridge. Bella Schmidt looking to pass, sends it down low into the corner. Puck careens past the blue line. We'll have to get a reset here for Eastridge. Kind of a whiffed pass there from, I believe that was Finnegan.
Well, that was a big check at the board. If we get a stoppage soon, we'll take a look at that.
Oh, the puck just working its way through several players right there. Now you see Limpert hugging that near side post. The captain for Eastridge gets the puck out of their own defensive zone. Holenback with the puck. We had a Raiders skater there tripping over their own skates in that corner. Eastridge on the attack at the blue line, deflects. Might have been off of Balster there, couldn't quite see from this angle. And we'll get a whistle here at the 12:20 mark.
Yeah, let's take a look at that hit right at the edge of the boards. It's coming up there. Well, maybe not as big as I thought. It looked a little harder from our angle. Nothing was called. Probably good.
Wow, yeah, thankfully for the Raiders on that one. Never know.
Because it's interesting to kind of I guess figure out the rules between some of the different sports. Is they narrowly clear that one out. Like, for example, boys and girls lacrosse. Boys lacrosse is a lot more physical in nature.
Yeah.
And I'm not as much of a hockey expert as some others, but I imagine the rules are a little bit closer than those two, but it's kind of interesting to compare.
A couple of rebound opportunities and some poking around that wasn't taken too kindly by some Raiders defenders, as Balster's looked pretty good here in the early goings. 8 saves. I was gonna say, you know, we could get Tuck on the line to explain to us the nuances of girls hockey. I'm sure he's tuning into the broadcast, so maybe he'll leave a message.
Oh, there's a breakaway. Hopefully they can get up to that puck.
Well, it's going to be one there by the Raiders, taking a shot. That one basically from the end line there. Didn't have the angle, but trying to get some offense going here. Slap shot goes to the left of Limpert. And a defensive mistake there by the Raiders, crashing in on the net. A couple of players crashing into each other, and yet another save there for Balster.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that as well. You know, flying down to the end. Had a pretty clean shot. That was a nice save. Take a look at the end of that play. There's that collision. Hopefully no one was injured at that.
So we'll have the offensive zone face-off here for Eastridge. Raiders yet to get a shot on goal. The Raptors forward there, handing it off down low. Along the boards, leaves it along the boards, back towards the near side corner of the blue line.
Yeah, it seems like shots are going to come at a premium for the Raiders tonight. They're going to have to take advantage of every opportunity they can get. like that opportunity earlier they unfortunately couldn't capitalize on. They're going to have to make use of their chances.
Well, and certainly the Raiders, albeit against likely, as we get a save there from Balster, albeit against slightly lesser competition in the first 4 games. I mean, you know, they've had these offensive onslaughts. I believe they've had 3 or 4 shorthanded goals on the season, which is a little unsurprising when you score 14 and 13 on that road trip.
I have 3 if the Hockey Hub is accurate.
Well, I trust the Hockey Hub.
I do too, because some other states aren't as fortunate to have what we have, like Wisconsin, for instance. They do not have very much for stats. I was looking for stats for the Prescott volleyball game against Hastings, and I couldn't find very much.
We are pretty spoiled here in Minnesota when it comes to high school sports.
Well, especially for hockey, too. We are the state of hockey, after all.
Well, allegedly.
Well, I mean, no matter your thoughts on the Wild, we're still a pretty big hockey state.
Oh, no doubt. Well, I mean the Gophers as well. I mean.
Right. How many college teams do we have in the Frozen Four every year?
How many teams do we have winning the tournament every year? Not very many.
Fair point.
But I digress. We get another shot there, another rebound opportunity. And that's going to turn out to be a goal for the Raptors. And you kind of figured that was going to happen at some point with all these rebound opportunities. Balster playing kind of lights out. It's hard to put anything on her.
Yeah, just kind of gets lost in traffic. There's not a lot she could do in this scenario. She blocked that first shot. But obviously when you're facing so much pressure, what else can you do on the back end of that?
I mean, 14 shots and 1 gets in. If you were Shanley there, kind of playing the body instead of playing the puck, might have helped to get a stick in there. Might have another chance, as that's going to be denied. A solid defensive play there by Jenna Donlin.
Also, while we have a minute, we want to welcome in the viewers from CTC, as I think we're going to get a penalty here. I heard a whistle.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, that's going to put the Raiders in the power play. I can't make out the number of who's in the penalty box. But like we said earlier, the Raiders are going to have to make use of this opportunity. They call them the Raptors because they're fast, and they've kind of shown that tonight. They're going to have to make use of this opportunity on the power play here if they want to win this game.
Oh, that's very true. And I think they were late to put it on the board, but that was a power play goal for the Raptors. There was a Raiders player in the bench.
We are a little bit off angle from where we would normally sit. We don't get to be up in the nest, so sometimes hard to see some stuff.
That's true. Well, you know, we're not cool enough. We got the alternative view.
You know, I think it's a pretty good view. We kind of get our own space. We don't got to worry about being crowded up too much. I don't mind it.
Well, that is very true. We don't have to deal with the bleacher creatures. But a shot that goes over the head of Limpert. Puck halted at the blue line, working their way towards the middle. A bounce pass off the boards, taken by Gruden. Now spinning around, a backhand from Tuitt. Along the boards, a little bit of a collision there from a Raptors defender. Sadie Roth. Now a centering pass to the point. Back across the blue line, takes a shot. That one's going to go to the right of Limpert. Raiders content just passing it around here, taking smart shots. Back to the point, less than a minute to go on the power play. A couple of players subbing in here for Eastridge. Puck bouncing around. The Raiders losing possession. We'll get a clear to the far side corner. A turnover down low. That could be very dangerous. Luckily, that Raptors forward couldn't get a centering pass to a teammate she had screaming in. Limpert comes out to greet the puck.
Well, that was dangerous for a split second. The goalie came out. There's a lot of Raiders down there.
Yeah, it's always an interesting proposition to bring your goaltender out in any scenario, as the penalty will expire against Eastridge. Back to some 5-on-5 hockey. Puck favoring those far side boards in the Raiders zone. Working her way down low is Holenback. Centering pass, deflected, shot right up to the chest of Carissa Thompson. A couple of fresh skaters on the ice for the Raiders. That pass going long in pursuit is Maddie Schuster. Schuster pinned along the boards, 2-on-1 there for the Raiders. Puck breaking free but recovered by Sydney Myers. Myers will turn it over, a pass off the glass. Less than 6.5 to go here in the opening period. A shot deflects, and that's off into the back of the net. Another goal here for the Eastridge Raptors, 2-0 lead here in the opening stanza.
Yeah, we'll take another look at that one. That's just unfortunate for the Raiders. You can see it. She manages to deflect it, but she just couldn't find it after that.
Yeah, just tough defensive spacing there by the Raiders.
And like I said, depending on how this the shot differential will be the rest of the night, you're gonna wonder how much you can pin this on Balster. When you have 15 shots against you to your own 2.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Absolutely, the defense is gonna have to shift this around for. Luckily, there's 2 more periods of hockey. And still 5 minutes and some change left in this first period.
Well, and certainly as a goaltender, you hope to catch the puck in your glove, but the reality is there's going to be rebound opportunities, there's going to be deflections, you're going to get a stick save, and it's not really on the goaltender to completely stop rebounds. A lot of that is on the defense. So the puck now here in the Raptors zone. We'll get a shot deflecting. That one screams right across the post. Maybe just a few inches from entering the back of the net, cutting the score in half for the Raiders. So they're starting to get a little offensive momentum here. A couple of short passes down low. Shower leaves it off for the captain, and that's going to be cleared. And we'll get an icing call on that one, so the face-off's going to go right back into the Eastridge zone.
Players tight in between. I need stuff to cut to. Nope, you're okay. Like I said, I'm doing both things.
So now under 5 to go. Face-off taken now by Eastridge. Little flip off the board. Momentum halted there by Casey Plank. Retreating back behind the net is Farrell. Backhands it for a teammate. Now an outlet pass up towards Addison Andre. I believe that's Meyer. Check that. Lily Fetch sends the puck down low. And now here's the Raiders with a return, a 2-on-2, and I believe they call an offsides there on Lauren Mull.
Well, that's unfortunate if you're a Raiders fan. Obviously, it's great to get that separation, but like I said, you got to take advantage of these opportunities. Eastridge is not going to give you very many.
And that, who knows where that one would have gone, but that was setting up to maybe be something special on that one. Now the Raiders losing Offensive possession, a battle for it. Taken up there by Hollenbach. 2-on-2, looks to pass. That one just sails right across the skates of the junior goaltender Balster. Warner looks to pass, tipped, but recovered by Hollenbach, leaves it for a teammate. Raiders 2-on-3, and we'll have Limpert falling on the puck.
Yeah, well, also while we have a stop in the action, we have a new sports sponsor, Owen. Welcome to the HCTV Sports family. We want to welcome Hastings Public House. Thank you for sponsoring us. Hastings Public House, memories made local. Once again, thank you so much for sponsoring us. We couldn't do this stuff without the support of our local community.
Offensive opportunity there for Eastridge. A couple of players kind of running into each other there. A little pass backhanded, but the goaltender sprawling out and ultimately making the save. We'll check that again on the replay here.
Yeah, again, a lot of traffic in the area. Good job by Balster, for finding that one in traffic. Throwing me off that Steinke's not in goal. But it's great to highlight a bunch of Raider players.
Well, in the early goings, it's definitely been a team effort on the season. Everybody is contributing. Get the face-off here with Lauren Mull. She'll lose the face-off. Raiders now on defense here, spinning around, looking to pass in that far side corner. It's Bella Schmidt. Backhands it down low. Couple of Raiders players hawking around the puck. That one tipped in the air, back into the corner. A shot, stick save. Tried to pass it around a Raptors forward down low. Pulled back and out by Casey Plank. Stopped at the blue line. Everybody staying onside there. Wrapping around was Fetch. Back towards the point. Shot, another stick save for Balster. And that puck is going to careen. Icing warning, and the face-off headed back to the Raiders zone. And we do have a power play here for the Raiders. With a player, they have number 1 up on the board in the box, which would be Annika Limpert, but she's still in net, so can't tell if that's just a team penalty.
Like I said, too, I don't know if we mentioned it yet, but the Civic Arena actually got a new scoreboard this year, which a lot of new bells and whistles, so imagine there's a little bit of a learning curve with getting the player numbers entered in correctly.
Offsides call there on the Raptors.
As you get a nice shot of the brand new scoreboard.
Looks good.
Yeah, I think it's a great addition here to the Civic Arena. Definitely that old one needed some replacing.
Well, I guess all the Raiders sports teams just kind of decided at once that they needed new scoreboards. Because I'm sure we'll see a lot of the new scoreboard at the high school.
I believe I was talking to one of the softball coaches that they're due for a new scoreboard as well. Hastings player almost had some separation.
Clock stopped here at 1:25 before the first period intermission.
We're going to get a line change here.
But that new scoreboard looks nice with the wood finishing of this arena. It's a real homely arena.
Kind of gives you that Midwest cabin vibe, which I think Minnesotans need to embrace.
It really does. I kind of like the fact that it's not just like a concrete wall.
Yeah, there's like, I think at the St. Thomas Ice Arena, well, it's a nice ice arena. It feels like it doesn't have as much character as the Hastings Civic Arena.
Yeah, I mean, the wood panels at this arena could tell a story, Hunter Pinky. That's how we could put it.
Many years of hockey have been played in this arena as we get some action near the net.
Well, that was a cheeky little backhanded shot from Madden Hansen, which very, very nearly snuck in on a near side post. Half a minute to go here before the intermission. 20 seconds to go on the power play. We'll get an attempted clear, kept onside. Shot bounces off of the knee of Limpert. Raiders running out of time in this first period to try to break the scoreless game on their behalf. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Chance for one final push here. The clock drains out, and it'll be held by Allie Warner as the clock expires here on the first period of the home opener here for the Hastings Raiders. Not exactly going the way of the home team thus far.
Yeah, not a great start if you're a Raiders fan. Let's go ahead and take a look at these first period goals. Here's that first one. Hopefully I got the right one. Yep, just sneaked it in there.
I believe that was Cheyenne Walls. That's going to be her first goal of the season, and then there's that second one from Myers.
Yep. Fortunately, if you're a Raiders fan, there's still a ton of hockey to be played. 2 17-minute periods left. I don't think you should beat yourself up too much. Like I said, a lot of time to turn this around. Obviously, something has to change defensively, but still a lot of time left, Owen Ely.
Well, absolutely, but for now, we'll send it off to the first period intermission here from the Hastings Civic Arena. It's a 2-0 lead for the East Ridge Raptors over your Hastings Raiders. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hastings Civic Arena as we get set for the start of the second period. After one, it's a 2-0 lead for the East Ridge Raptors over the Hastings Raiders. I'm your host, Owen Ely, here with our broadcast partner for the night, Hunter Pinkey. Should be interesting to see some of the adjustments that the Raiders try to make here as they try to avoid going on a 2-game skid here in the early going portion of the season. Certainly, we don't have the stats right now. Actually, we do. My bad. I was looking at the wrong thing. But certainly, shots on goal is going to have to be something that changes. Don't you think, Hunter? Looking 19-7, something's got to give there.
Right, absolutely. And like I said, the 2-0 lead can be a little bit misleading too, from a goalie standpoint. When the puck is down by your end 90% of the time, obviously it's kind of like with football when you build a bend but don't break defense. You can only take so much before you break, and that's kind of what happened in that first period. But there's still a lot of time to change that. And you know what I've learned from watching a lot of sports? A locker room talk can do wonders. Say the right things and make the right adjustments, and this game could shift completely. Hastings could easily score 2 goals in this period as well and tie it up.
Yeah, we'll have to see how good of a speech giver Jim Joseph is. But who knows? Maybe they're the cardiac kids this season. We'll see if they can try to work their way back here.
Yeah, one of the other things I like to talk about too, because I not to say I'm a snob about it, but I love analyzing uniforms. The Raiders, these uniforms for the Raiders are pretty new. I love the retro style gold. They are some of the cleanest uniforms, in my opinion, in high school sports. And honestly, Eastridge looks pretty good too. I love the all black with the gold trim. We got a couple of good-looking teams out there.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. Those are 2 elite uniforms. It just reminds me of Sweden.
Yeah, it does.
I love the Hastings typeface on the front going down diagonally, classic hockey look. And, you know, I'm not just saying this because, you know, if we were doing a game, say, with Simley or something, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, some of the uniforms are not so great at the high school level. But these two, I mean,
I think Simley actually got some powder blues last year too. They debuted. I thought those were pretty clean. As we get the start of the game going. And just to wrap up that thought too, like if I don't know the 2 teams, I'll pick the better looking team just because I'm that particular with my uniforms.
I mean, it's only natural. I mean, that's the reason you have to have good uniforms. I mean, nobody wants to root for a team with bad uniforms.
Look good, play good.
Very true. First shot of the second period, deflected off somebody from Hastings. Couldn't tell if it was one of the 2 defenders or if it was Balster. Either way, the Raiders trying to get something going here in the opening minute of the second period. It would be very helpful if they could get an early goal. Try to get some momentum going as we'll get a stoppage here.
And tonight's game, like we said earlier, is the home opener. Will start a 3-game homestand for the Raiders with Eastridge tonight, Duluth coming to town on Saturday, and then next week will be our next broadcast for Hopkins St. Louis Park co-op team.
Yeah, they're going to get pretty comfy playing at the Hastings Civic Arena, and 10 of their next 12 are home games as well. So
it's kind of interesting to see how schedules get stacked. I know a lot of wrestling in particular for the Raiders, they get stuck with a lot of road contests in a row before they could have a home meet.
So how do you assess the Raiders' schedule? You think it's better to have a long road streak at the beginning, or would you rather have a long home streak to try to, you know, build some wins and some momentum? I mean, obviously they won on the road, but it's kind of interesting people's different opinions on how the schedule breaks down.
You know, that's very tough, just because I think it's better to start on the road and then end at home, just because momentum swings mainly occur at home, in my opinion. When you're playing in front of a home crowd, especially in high school sports, when they're loud, they're energetic, it could spark new life into an offense. And I definitely think starting out on the road, while it can be tough, you can make it up more easily with a home stretch a little later in the season.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that assessment. Well, only one shot on goal here thus far in the opening 2 minutes. Some more sound defensive play from both teams as we'll get a save by Bolster.
Yeah, and the thing is with that too, if you start off with a big home stretch, especially against some tough teams, and you lose all that can be pretty demoralizing as a hockey team. But obviously, hockey, there's 20, 25 games a season, so there's a lot of time too. You can't get stuck in slumps, but if a home or away streak comes at the wrong time, it can be critical.
I'd say, with how the schedule has shook out, going 3-1 on the road, that's definitely a proper start here for the Raiders this season.
Especially, how about we talk about how far the Raiders went for some of these. Rochester, Mayo, that's an hour away. Red Wing, that's the closest ones. But the last two, they went up to Detroit Lakes and Fergus Falls. They won in Detroit Lakes 13-0, and then they lost to Fergus Falls 3-0.
Well, and we were talking about this. At least you win the 13-0 game. I mean, imagine how demoralizing it is to travel that far on the road on a 2-day road trip just to get blown out by 13 points.
Exactly. And the other positive to that, as we get a little bit of a breakaway here.
A real opportunity for the Raiders there, kind of negated by some smothering defense by the Raptors. Kylie Gruden was the one bringing that puck up along the near side.
Like I said, it is early in the season, so it's not going to make or break your season, but still, it can set a tone early, and the Raiders set a very positive tone with a 14 win and that 13 win.
Yeah, either way, no matter how the season shakes out, good, bad, or indifferent, that's definitely going to impact the goals against for the remainder of the year as we get a shot there deflected.
Raiders defense is holding up much better in this period. I think they were at 19 to start this period, and they've only allowed 3. Now they just got to get some shots of their own.
Yeah, you got to get the offense going, but I agree, the defense, they are not allowing as many rebound shots, which was a major issue in the first period. Now the Raiders wrapping around back behind Limpert. A couple of players going down to the ice as we'll get a whistle here, just north of 13 to go in the middle period. And looks like we're going to get a power play for Eastridge as we'll have Jade Shower, the sophomore, going to the box. That is not what you need at a time like this.
No, absolutely. And especially going up against this team, Eastridge has shown a lot of speed tonight, and speed can kill, especially on the ice.
Well, we'll see how the Raiders defense here, the PK unit, battens down the hatches. Thus far, a pretty patient attack here from Eastridge. Working their way down low here on the near side. Got the captain, Willie Fetch, spinning around, now working their way around the perimeter. Shot deflects off of Bolster. Cuts back in, tries a pass. It gets deflected off of the skates of Carissa Thompson. Back to the point. Another pass back to the point. We'll get a shot. Careens off into the corner. Looking to pass, sends it down low. Bolster hugging that near side post. 1 minute to go on the PK for the Raiders. They're 71% on the season. A couple of extra shots there and a save by Balster as the PK unit standing strong.
Let's take another look at that shot. Nice setup. Nice job by Balster to smother that one.
And luckily there was a lot of skaters in front of her, but the seas kind of parted there, so she had a clear look at that shot coming in. Puck tipped in the air. A couple of Raptors down low. They try to backhand it in. Balster turtling up. Yet another save. 23 saves tonight for Balster. I mean, that is quite a pace as we take another look at the replay. Puck just slapping around between a couple of sticks. 35 seconds to go on the power play. Over to the far side. Myers to Downey, back to Myers. Thinks about taking a shot. Hands it off. Pass deflected, down low. Now here over to the near side. Walls, who has a goal tonight, touching the puck. Could be a chance here for the Raiders. Gruden showing off her speed. Bit of a collision off into the corner. We'll get a whistle here. 3 seconds to go on the power play for the visiting Raptors.
We're going to get a power play here for the Raiders. Well, a little 3 seconds of 4-on-4 action. Let's take a look and see what happened at the end of that. Out in the corner. Yep. Just curious. Yep. It must have been that little jab at the end of that.
Well, the 3 seconds is pretty meaningless here with an offensive zone face-off. But now technically, it'll be a power play for the Raiders. Shower coming in from the box. That one attempted at a clear. That was dangerous if that puck went a little more north and south instead of east and west on that one. We'll get a reset here by the Raiders. Under 11 minutes to go in the second period. Thompson sends it down low.
If you're Raiders here, you don't got to panic quite yet. Obviously, you have the advantage with the power play, but if you can even just get one back here with this power play, I think you're set up nicely for the third period to make a run back in this game.
We'll get a shot. Bunch of players right in front of the goaltender, Limpert. Recovery and a clear there from the Raptors. And that is very true. And, you know, the comeback cannot be complete if you don't get the first goal. The first goal is always the hardest one, as we get a shot and a glove save there from Annika Limpert. Also playing very well tonight.
Take a look at the shot before that. The slap shot far out in the zone. Yeah, she did a nice job deflecting that one.
Just kind of swatted it away like it was a fly.
That's all you need to do. Even a slight deflection can help immensely as that's sent back down the Raider zone.
Well, now 45 seconds remaining on the man advantage. Puck nearly slipping past a couple of Raptors defenders, sent in by a Raiders forward. That's Michaela Bergquist. Haven't called her name a ton here tonight.
Apologize about that. Accidentally bumped the replay button.
It's all right. It's the first game of the winter schedule. There's no preseason for us.
Oh no, as much as I would have liked to do a game early, but I wasn't gonna drive 4 hours to Detroit Lakes or Fergus Falls.
Wow, that's just a lack of motivation right there. That one was a prime opportunity. Just skated almost into the back of the net. That is a lucky turnout there for the Raptors as they end up killing that power play for the Raiders. Under 9 to go. See if the Raiders can keep on the attack here. 5-on-5. Limpert comes out to greet the puck. couple of players trying to box out a Raptors defender. Race for the puck back the other way. We had Selesky looking over her shoulder. Thompson sends it forward. Up to Hansen. Turned over now. Eastridge turns it over. A shot. And no chance for a rebound there from Annika Limpert as she falls on the deflection.
Take another look at that last shot. I like that they're taking some of these shots from super far back in the zone. Maybe catch Eastridge sleeping a little bit here on some of those attempts.
Yeah, I love not being too particular on shots, as we'll get a stand-up save there from Balster. I mean, so many good things happen when you shoot the puck in down low, even if it doesn't go in on the first attempt. I mean, just getting the puck there is half the battle. Eastridge matriculating the puck down the ice. The 3 Raiders players just around the puck, poking at it. A little cross-check from behind. A Raiders forward, excuse me, a Raptors forward. Now up the ice, Bergquist, leading goal scorer for the Raiders, backhands it, turns it over with Riches in the vicinity. Handful of players coming onto the ice for both squads. Tangled up, and another save by Bree Balster.
Balster's been playing fantastic tonight, especially with all the pressure in her face. Let's take a look at that last shot on net, especially with all the chaos down there. Oh, that went off the back of the Raiders skate right there. That was Grace Gerlach. That was almost an own. That could have been bad. Almost an own goal.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter how you get them in as long as you get them in. Shot, partial save, puck back into play.
Yeah,
Recovered out of open ice.
Gerlach's also a lacrosse star for the Lady Raiders.
Attempt at a glove save there for Balster. Puck sailing. And we'll have a bit of a breakaway there, closed off nicely by Allie Warner. Back towards the blue line, shot, and a save by Limpert. Off the shot from Addie Selesky.
Yeah, good job by the Raiders so far, tightening down that defense a little bit. Obviously, the shots on goal differential is not ideal yet, but they still tightened it up compared to last period.
Yeah, and this second period, you know, although it's still scoreless, it just feels really different. It feels a lot more competitive. They're playing good hockey, even if they're not putting points on the board yet.
Now let me ask you a question, Owen Ely. Would you rather have your if you're going to have one bad period a game, would you rather it come first period, second period, or third period?
Without a shadow of a doubt, as we get that puck swept away, first period, unquestionably. I mean, you have a bad third period, you lose the game, in all likelihood. You have a bad middle period that sets you up for a bad third period. You can overcome a bad first period, and obviously that's what the Raiders are trying to do here tonight. We'll see if they have success with that, as we'll have a scoring chance denied there for the Raptors. Puck sent forward, tries to cut to the inside, shot, and a pad save by Limpert. Now Eastridge trying to get a chance there, backhands it, as we'll have a sprawling save by Bree Balster.
Take another look at that one here. Yeah, Eastridge has been getting a lot of separation tonight, but nice job by Balster to get in front of that one and knock it down.
I mean, hockey's a team game, and everybody has, X amount of responsibility for how a game turns out. So not to say that she doesn't have anything to do with what's going on, but it's so hard to pin those 2 goals on Ballster. She makes another save. Ballster is playing I'm not even just saying it. She's playing A+ hockey. She's playing really well. The 1 goal was kind of a fluky deflection, which still counts as good as a legitimate goal. The other one was kind of a defensive breakdown. I mean, she's playing really well, as you see in that play.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, like, a lot of these shots, there's always one long one, she knocks it down, and then there's another Raptor right in her face, ready to take that rebound, and she has to be immediately set for the next one. She's done a fantastic job, like you said, like on that one we just saw.
Yeah, the big difference with Eastridge is you can tell that their pressure and their spacing, everybody's where they need to be with Eastridge, and it's been a sight to behold thus far. And the puck pinned along the boards in the defensive zone. Tries a centering pass. Tried to scoop that one around, and oncoming Raiders forward. Another pass and/or shot deflected. Covered here by Kylie Gruden. She's had a lot of success tonight bringing the puck up the ice. Looking to pass here. Centering pass. That one was deflected, I believe.
That was a nice pass. That was perfectly set up. Just a shame they couldn't capitalize on that one.
But it's winning hockey. They're playing a lot of their play here tonight is especially in the second period. It's looking good. Just need to get some points on the board here.
They're building off of every little mistake they've made this game. Sooner or later, one of those are going to go in. I can feel that tonight.
Well, we'll see how real the announcer's jinx is or not on that one.
I think it's important to talk about. Just a theme we've noticed as that one gets close to the net is we've seen out of a lot of Hastings teams, we're a fantastic one half or, 2/3 of a game kind of team. And I hope, and that's kind of how it seems right now. They had their bad half in the first period, and now they're slowly starting to ramp it up, and hopefully they can turn the corner for this third period. Obviously, it's still 2 minutes and some change left, but the intensity's picking up here.
That certainly has been a motif for Raiders sports at times, the inconsistency, which in fairness happens to a lot of teams. Inconsistency is a very consistent problem for a lot of teams, but certainly the good teams are not very inconsistent. So we'll see if they can kind of fix that as we get the first goal of the second period, and it goes the way of Eastridge on that snipe from just inside the blue line. That's going to be the first goal of the night for Sadie Roth. 4th goal of the season. We'll take another look at it right here.
Yeah, maybe the announcer's jinx is very bad. Oh, man, Owen, I should just learn to shut my mouth sometimes, huh? But nice goal by Eastridge.
And you're just tempting fate when you say something like that. I've learned the announcer's jinx is very, very real. Well,
so I remember when you did it a couple of years ago against St. Thomas Academy for football. You were calling the upset alert as we get a shot here.
I was, and the momentum immediately died once I did that.
We are probably the worst, too, for announcers' jinx. Actually, that's not true. Toby Stanga at Town Square is worse.
Yeah, he's pretty bad.
Anytime he expects a blowout, we get overtime. So.
Yeah, surefire overtime. Yeah, that is very true. You know who's not that bad at announcers' jinx is Reagan Hooverman, as we get a shot and a goal there for the Raiders. And that's exactly what they needed. They stayed at it. The stick-to-itiveness paid off for Hastings, as that's going to be a goal from Emily Tuitt, her 2nd goal of the season, and that brings them back into this game. It felt like it was getting kind of out of hand, and a defensive mistake by Eastridge, and she comes in, sends out one into the back of the net.
Yeah, what Beautiful shot. You know what? I don't know what to say anymore, Owen. We talk about we're horrible at jinxing it, and then they immediately prove us wrong, bring it back, and now it's squared away. Obviously still a lot to build on here, but all it takes is one. All it takes is one goal to start a spark.
You know what? That makes me believe in announcers' jinxes even more, because when we acknowledged the announcers' jinx and that we were humbled by the announcers' jinx, that's when the announcing jinx gods gave a goal to the Raiders. Well, now this game feels very different now that we know that the Raiders are capable of putting points on the board. You see how the crowd reacted to that one. The energy just feels a little bit different. Everybody's awake now for this late start. I mean, we're starting at 7:30. I mean, you got to get your got to bring a cup of coffee or something.
Yeah, exactly. And there's always so much pressure just to get one. Especially when you're behind, you don't want to get shut out. Thought I heard a whistle there.
And I think we're going to go back on the power play here.
Power play, I think.
Oh, nope. Incorrect. We're going to be on the PK, as we'll have Addie Selesky in the box.
Oh, and she went in the wrong box. Oops.
Well, it's early in the season for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. First home game, too. But the Raiders have done a pretty good job on the power play so far this second period. Hopefully they can continue that momentum with this one.
Well, it certainly would be a little devastating if they made it 4-1.
That was a nice deflection on that shot. If we get a stoppage here before the end of the quarter, we'll take a look at that one.
Puck bouncing right in front of the netminder Ballster. She's just waiting to pounce. That one over the shoulder bounces. I think people were expecting a stoppage there. Did not touch off the netting. Tried to send that one into the crease, and they score, but it's disallowed. They're going to say that the period had ended. So almost a buzzer beater. I don't think they have replay. I don't think they can review that.
No, they can't. That's just unfortunate for the Raptors.
The game might have been saved by the bell right there.
The Raiders got away with one. Let's showcase some Raptors here. Let's take a look at the goals. The first one set up by Eastridge.
Yeah, that was that was Roth on the goal. And here's the first goal of the night for the Raiders, coming by way of Emily Thuet.
A lot of hockey left, and I think a huge sigh of relief for Raider fans as we get set to head to intermission. Owen, any final thoughts before we head to break?
I'm just so happy to be back here. And the third period, it's my favorite period. Have you ever talked to Jesse Stang, a little bit of insider baseball? He says his favorite period is the second period. That's crazy. My favorite is the third, and we're about to, we're in for a wild third period here, as we'll send it to intermission here. 3-1 lead for Eastridge over Hastings from the Hastings Civic Arena. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Hastings Civic Arena as we get set for the start of the third period between the Hastings Raiders and the East Ridge Raptors. After two, it's a 3-1 lead for East Ridge over Hastings. I'm Owen Ely here with my broadcast partner for the night, Hunter Pinkey, as we get set for what will likely be, I don't want to jinx it because we've been burned tonight, but what will likely be an action-packed third period.
Absolutely, as we get a shot of a couple of our cameramen over there. That's Max and Will Celine. Will's a high schooler, actually. He's doing a great job on the broadcast tonight.
Well, always good to have extra help. I'm surprised that he's not from UWRF because we have such a high population of UWRF alum.
Right, a lot of our contractors are from River Falls. it's interesting.
Oh, there you can see the Raptors coming on. There's
Ian.
just vibing.
Yeah, he likes to do some goofy stuff on camera. It's kind of refreshing. But yeah, no, going back to, we have an interesting influx of River Falls folks. You know, Reagan Hooverman, obviously, Ben Brannon, Sebastian Kulo every so often.
Take a hike, Mike.
Take a hike, Mike. Yeah, I always forget about Mike's River Falls guy.
Yeah,
I always forget. It's always so fun.
This place is lousy with them. There's so many UWRF Falcons.
Absolutely. But anyway, back to game time. Sorry for River Falls rant. You know, I feel like something exciting is going to happen this quarter. I love what the Raiders were doing last period. They were more aggressive on offense, took advantage of their opportunity and scored. Obviously, you have to make up two here, but the game's not done yet. And with the momentum on their side, especially after that buzzer took away, I think that's huge for the Raiders. That can just kill your drive or your motivation as a Raptor, knowing you had a goal and lost it to the time clock.
Well, if they improve like they did from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, we're in for a good comeback performance from the Raiders here in the third period.
Yeah, we were talking about it too at the intermission too. Personally, right now, my MVP of the game for the Raiders, it is Bolster. She's been fantastic. Like I said, you don't want to harp on the defense too much just because it is a tough team. The fast and quickness of the Raptors. But there's still only so much you can do as a goalie. Like you said, 35 shots to 14. That bend and don't break model is kind of hard to keep sustainable through 3 periods of hockey.
Well, 32 saves and 32 shots, that's 91, almost 92%. You look at that on a stat sheet, that's a really good save percentage.
Absolutely, as that one's deflected away.
45 seconds on the power play for Eastridge. Of course, they started off the third period on a power play, carrying over from the second period. A shot right to the stomach of Bolster, and she'll make yet another save.
I think you said that too at intermission too. It's huge how they managed to split that power play, just because we saw earlier, it got them out of their own territory and reset it towards the central ice.
Yeah, and helps to kill some of the momentum that you would have from just 2 minutes continuous. But they do have to finish strong here in the next 20 seconds. Back to the blue line, passing it down low. Shot, that one bounces off the back glass. Time for one final flurry there as they try to one-timer, and the net will be knocked off the moorings by number 18. That's Sadie Roth looking for her second goal tonight. If that pass was just a little more higher, would have been a thing of beauty there for Eastridge.
Take a look there. Ooh, yeah, she just whiffed it. little bit. Those are pretty decent pass for the most part, but still, when you're going through traffic like that, it's can easily get lost.
And there's nothing Ballster could do about that. The human body just doesn't move that fast to shift from one side to the other that quickly. That was a brilliant setup, as the penalty kill will expire for the Raiders. Back to some 5-on-5 even strength hockey. Hansen was in pursuit of Andre. Puck there along the far side, swept into possession by Selesky. Near side corner, right in front of the student section, working its way into Eastridge territory. Schmidt on the back skate sends it forward.
Speaking of student section, it's so great to see the student sections coming back out in full force. Last year we kind of got to return to normalcy a little bit, but this is like the first full season. It feels like since 2019.
Yeah, and it's like college sports, it's like high school sports. It's not the same without passionate fans and students. Of course, the action of this game speaks for itself. I'm not saying this game wouldn't be fun if there was no fans or if it was a bunch of, elderly people watching. But, it's just it hits different when you have the student section. That's for sure. Icing call here on the Hastings Raiders. Bit of a stalemate here in the third period. Certainly the lion's share of the possession thus far goes to Eastridge.
While we have a quick pause here, I want to remind our viewers of our next broadcast, which will be girls hockey once again next week on November 29th as the Hopkins St. Louis Park Royals come to town. Should be a good one too. Kind of fun to see some different teams we don't get to see a lot. Obviously with Eastridge not being in our conference, we don't get to see a ton of Eastridge on our HCTV broadcasts.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get rivalries and rivalry games, but yeah, it is kind of refreshing to see different teams now and again.
Like last year for basketball, we did that Duluth East game. That was kind of fun when they travel, 2-3 hours down from the Great North. Speaking of Duluth, they come down on Saturday for the Raider girls' next home game. That's a 2 p.m. start.
Well, you got to figure that brings a little extra energy as opposed to, driving in from Mendota Heights or something. You come down 2.5 hours. I mean, you come to play. Offensive zone face-off here for Eastridge. Lily Fetch against Madden Hansen. And Hansen's going to win that face-off for Hastings. Wrapping around behind the goaltender. Tried a little breakout pass. Swept away by a Raptor. Shot thuds off the pads of Ballster. Sends it back. Momentarily held by a Raider. A nice pin along the boards from Riches. And now she'll bring it up. And we'll get a dump there by the Raiders as we'll get a line change. Collision in the Eastridge zone. Bit of a muffed defensive play there as Kylie Gruden tried to sneak that one past Annika Limpert on that near side. Kylie Gruden has been there all 3 periods offensively when it comes to bringing the puck up the ice, these scoring opportunities. I mean, hasn't scored yet tonight, but it's not for a lack of trying. That's for sure.
She's due. She has. It was Raider Falls there. She has such breakaway speed, and she's been key on setting up some of these Raiders opportunities. Obviously, not all clicking, but she's due. She's due. So as we get a Raptor heading to the box, so that'll set up a Raider power play. This is the opportunity you need, Owen.
Yeah, it's exactly what the doctor ordered right here. I believe it was for a tripping call because we had Maddie Schuster thudding into the boards at high velocity. So prime opportunity here, not necessarily a do or die with 13 minutes to go, but this really would help the cause for the Raiders as we'll get a shot and an immediate glove save from Limpert.
Take a look at that one. Like I said, I like these long distance slap shots.
Yeah, they're just trying. They're trying. Face off, won by the Raptors. They'll get a clear. Player there in heavy pursuit. That was Addison Andre.
You've seen that a few times tonight, too. As soon as they clear it down, you see a Raptor flying down right behind the Raiders. They haven't had a lot of time to breathe, even on their own, on the penalty kill.
Yeah, they're not allowing them to easily reset. Created some space there. They'll try to flip that one over. A little backhand, tried to flip that into the corner. We'll get a clear high sticking there from a Eastridge defender, not called. Minute 15 on the power play and another save.
Not sure if we'll see it on this replay, but here's a look at that last shot.
Yeah, there you can see at the very edge of that, she got smacked in the head with a stick. So an offensive zone face-off. It's going to be won here by Hastings, passed along the boards. Tried to flip it in, just trying to create some sort of opportunity down low. Successful clear here for the Raptors. 1 minute to go on the power play, 12 to go in the game. A turnover smothered by the Raiders, but possession still held by Eastridge. Almost was a 2-on-1 in the corner. Tried to flip it past a Raptors player. Eventually does. That's Carissa Thompson. Now puck down low. Fires that one along the boards, and it slips past Grace Gerlach. Another clear. Puck met by Balster.
Just under 30 seconds left in the power play for the Raiders as well.
A clear that was deflected by Hansen's body. Pass up to the blue line. And they'll just hold on to the possession. They won't try to clear, but they will dump and chase. And they will have successfully killed the power play for the Raiders. Back to even strength hockey. A dangerous turnover. Number 7 there wasn't a little more aggressive. That one nearly 5-hold on Balster, stretched out, and their foot and or skate kind of impeded the progress there on that initial opportunity. Now Bergquist down low, leading scorer for the Raiders. Going back the other way, the speedy Andre tries to cut through a trio of Raiders defenders. The shot deflected back into play. 43 shots on goal tonight for Eastridge. 10 minutes to go. And we'll get an icing call here on the Raiders as they tried to dump it and get a line change.
While we have a moment too, Owen, I would like to once again take a minute to thank our new HCTV Sports sponsor. Thank you to the Hastings Public House for sponsoring HCTV Sports. The Hastings Public House, memories made local. Hastings only at 17 shots. They still haven't, that number hasn't gone up very much.
Yeah, 17 shots thus far tonight. They had 14 goals back on the 12th on the road against Red Wing. Eastridge now with the puck, wrapping around Limpert. Raiders trying to close them off in front of both benches. Puck deflected between a couple of players eventually. Myers comes up with the puck. Raiders just trying to break free there, tried to cut to the inside. Jade Shower might have had something. She could have snuck the puck in there. We'll get a stoppage of play here with 9:16 to go in the third period. Blue line face-off. Initially won by Eastridge, eventually taken back by Eastridge, but the progress stopped there by a Raiders forward. That's Lauren Mull, defender, who sends it down low. Eastridge pinned back in their own zone, whiffed on a pass from Bella Schmidt, taken by Kayla Latta. Shifty little move there from Jade Shower as she tried to creep her way to the outside, but we will get a penalty here on the Raiders, and that's going to be Lauren Mull, the sophomore, heading to the box.
See if we can see. Yep, there was looks like a little trip at the end of that.
Oh, a 2-minute minor and only 8:47 to go in regulation. Absolutely vital that they try to kill the power play here as Balster is sprawled out on the ice, makes the save. Take another look at the save there from Balster. .93% save percentage tonight for Balster.
Like I said, you can't really, it's hard to argue against that save percentage. It's just when you're getting bombarded, it's so hard as a goalie. You remember a few years...
Shot and another goal there for Eastridge on the power play. Top shelf there. See who scored it eventually, but either way, it's a 4-1 lead. Looks like that was Bella Schmidt. Gets the third period started with the scoring, and that kind of puts the game a bit out of reach for Hastings off the snipe. Second goal of the season for the senior forward.
Yeah, and that's just unfortunate. It's kind of been the theme of the game. You know, when you're facing that many shots, there's only so much you can do, and that was just a nice shot right into the corner.
Yeah, perfectly placed. You know, it's hard not to give props to Eastridge for how they've been playing tonight. They've been on it tonight. Got a couple of players falling down along that near side glass. Bit of a wrestling match now taking place down low. Eastridge on the attack here as they try to slide that one in. Another rebound chance was negated by Balster. Raiders taking possession in the offensive zone, sweeping around, fires that one wildly to the right. Puck working its way off the wall, now taken up by Andre, cuts back and sends that one high, bounces off of the shoulder pads of Balster off into the netting. Stoppage of play, north of 7 to go.
Take a look at that last shot. Nice deflection, almost poked in. Like I said, even when the Raiders do a good job defensively, they can't catch their breath. There's a new Raptor right in their face, and it's been pretty evident tonight. It's hard for them to keep up with that Raptor speed.
It just forces you to be on every single second of the game, which I imagine is quite draining physically and mentally.
And we know this game's kind of getting a little bit out of reach, but on the plus side, like I said earlier, it's early in the season too. Early in the season, this is game 5 on the year. Non-conference game.
Raiders tried to work something offensively there, going back the other way. Icing called on Eastridge. Well, and, it's whatever. It's a cliche. It's a truism. We say it all the time in defeats that we cover. But, it is true. There is a lot to like about what the Raiders did tonight. Not to bury them before they're dead. There's still 6.5 to go. I've seen crazier comebacks. But, the adjustment from the first period to the second period was really heartening. That's something that's going to come in handy later. Tightening up defensively, I thought was good. I mean, they have 2 solid goaltenders that they can go back and forth on. So we got another save there by Limpert. So, it wasn't a drubbing. It wasn't, devoid of positives that you could take moving forward. There's a lot to like. And again, like you said, non-conference. You like to win all the games, but, doesn't have a bearing on the standings. Raptors dumping the puck into the Raiders zone. Slap shot deflects. And Schuster with the recovery.
But yeah, kind of going back to what you said too. I hate being the repeat of that theme, one good half or one good period a game. But to go along with that though, that means every single game we've seen a lot of good as well from these Raiders teams, and there's stuff to build on. Like you said, they're there. It's just adjusting properly and continuing it for a full hockey game or whatever game it is.
Yeah, and it's a progression as we're going to race for the puck. Icing is going to be called off as we have Gruden down low, stuck along the boards. Sweeps it over to her teammate, turns it over defensively. But, it's a progression. I mean, one good period is better than not having a single good period in the game, but, 3 good periods is better than one. It's all about the consistency. I mean, it's not a bad team. It's just, a little bit inconsistent tonight.
And like I said, this is a really good Eastridge Raptor team, too. There's nothing that fault to losing to a really good team. They're playing hard. They're fast. Obviously, you wanna treat every game like you can win it, and absolutely they could win this game tonight. But they just gotta build on what's working, and like we said earlier too, they've shown offensive potential. If you can score 14 points against a team, 13 points, there's something there,
Yeah. Well, and, to go back to, the one bad period, I mean, you can't do this because all the periods count, but, you take away that first period, if they played a little more consistent, it could be a 2-1 game. It could be a 4-3 game, a 3-2 game. I mean, the game has been a lot closer as it's gone on.
Exactly. With this game, like I said, the hope to rebound, obviously, unless a miracle happens here with 5 minutes left to go, they will take on Duluth next Saturday at 2, the 26th. Then Hopkins Park comes to town, which will be our next game on HCTV Sports. We have a pretty busy next week.
Then they're on the road at Western Wisconsin. I don't know what that is.
That's in Somerset. That's what I've got for location. And then they have another 4 home game stretch, Simley, Two Rivers, St. Paul, White Bear Lake, North, St. Paul, Tartan.
Yeah, I mean, it is. They're not going to be traveling too much over the next few weeks.
Their conference schedule kind of hits like a truck after that Western Wisconsin game.
Well, I suppose that's the good news is, they have plenty of time. Well, not plenty, but they have time to figure some things out before conference schedule begins. I mean, you look at Eastridge in the Metro East. I mean, they've already played 3 conference games. I mean, there was no you know, getting familiar with the season type of vibes going on there. I mean, it's just straight into the deep end. A shot whiffed on there by Raptors forward, pushed out towards center ice. Pass a little too hot for a Eastridge forward. Puck really favoring the Raiders bench there, as we'll see if we can get a breakout here from the Raiders. We'll get a dump and chase by Kyra Erickson.
Once again, too, I also want to thank our SWCTC viewers and then everyone watching in Woodbury. I know we're a Hastings broadcast, but we're glad to have you all along for the ride. While we do this a lot for Hastings, we want the away crowd to have an enjoyable experience, too.
Got a couple of players scrumming right in front of Bree Balster, who I believe made the save. A little bit of a dangerous play there. We had number 13, Cheyenne Walls, calling for a pass, slapping her stick along the ice. They did not send the pass over to her, and there you can kind of see what's going on in that crease. Face-off was won by the Raiders, but the possession to Eastridge at the blue line, dumping it down low. Walls pinning a Raiders defender along the boards. That's Selesky. Balster craning her neck. Watch what's going on. A cross-ice pass. Sent towards the center. It was creeping its way towards the crease. The Eastridge Raptors tried to mount up on an attack there. They'll now cross the blue line, bringing the puck down low. Bounce pass back behind Balster. A couple of players now joining the action off the bench. Puck slowly working its way there to the far side corner. Recovered and sent forward, now into open ice. The Raiders could be working with something here. Looks to get a centering pass. It was deflected. Still on sides. Now going back the other way. Puck stolen, sent forward by the captain, Carissa Thompson. Got a Raptors player taking a tumble there, Kylie Paul. Now there's Hansen back to the blue line, tipped, deflected, working its way down low. Pass and a chase now by Casey Plank. Dangerous pass, intercepted off of the deflection. Either team with solid possession here as the puck stagnates along that yellow stripe, and a pass too hot for a Eastridge defender. Once again, that's Kylie Paul, the sophomore. Minute 15 to go here in regulation.
Next game for Eastridge, they will be at home against White Bear Lake. Then a long slew of conference games for them coming up, with Mounds View, Irondale, Your Park, Wolfpack, Woodbury, Stillwater, Roseville, Matamidi, Co-op, Forest Lake.
Well, I hope they don't underestimate the power of the pack.
You know, now that we're not in the same conference, I like rooting for the Park Wolfpack, except when it comes to sections.
Fair enough. We'll take what we can get.
Yeah.
Maybe a chance for a late goal here. That one just kind of escaped. Michaela Bergquist, a shot and a save A late whistle there.
Take a look at that shot. Yeah, they blew that whistle way late.
Yeah, you can see 17 there for the Raiders. Just like, all right, well, guess we're still playing here. But, you know, it's easy to root for Park. I mean, what is Cottage Grove if not North Hastings?
Exactly. And I think even with the rivalry being changed a little, I think they're pretty supportive of each other when it comes to section time. Obviously, not when they're playing each other, like for baseball, but depending how sections line up, you know.
Listen, there's bigger threats out there in the high school sports world than the Park Wolfpack. So, you know, you got to band together against some of these other schools as we'll hit the final bell here from the Hastings Civic Arena. 4-1 victory for the visiting Eastridge Raptors over the Hastings Raiders.
Yeah, the Eastridge Raptors came out to play today, Owen. We'll take a look at that last shot, or last goal of that third period before we send it off. But man, it was incredibly hard fought. It was the Raptors are just so fast, and they created so many openings. As soon as the Raiders thought they could breathe, there was another Raptor in their faces. Obviously a tough loss for Hastings, but there's also a lot to build upon from this game. Like you said, in the second half, great defensive adjustments and a lot of aggressiveness on the offensive side. But at the same time, you can't give up 50 shots and only shoot 18. So a lot of work to do if you're a Raider.
Yeah, that's certainly the biggest talking point coming out of this game is the 50 burger they had with shots on goal. Well, the Raiders will fall to 3-2. Eastridge advances to 4-0. So we'll look to wrap it up here from the Hastings Civic Arena. Special thanks to Hunter Pinkey, Owen Ely, Ian Andrusak, Max Slocum, Will Celine. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. This has been HCTV Sports.